Welcome to our Android Week with an awkward white space on the side that's gone now. All right, I'm Dan McDermott, your host, and I'm minimizing this. Obviously, I'm screwing up here. This is, I guess you could say, our Android fortnight because we skipped last week because there was no news. I'm not sure why we're doing it this week, Alan, because there's no news.
No, not much really, but that's to be expected coming up on IO starting middle of next week.
The calm before the storm, hopefully. I think I complained about this last year at the same time, so I guess this is a normal thing.
You complained about it last year and the year before. We've now been doing the show that long, and I believe 2 years ago we made a bunch of predictions about what we were going to see at IO, and we were wrong. And last year we made a bunch of predictions about what we'd see at IO, and we were wrong.
You have to admire
So
our
this
consistency.
So this year, I'm fully willing to make some predictions about what we'll see at I/O.
So I'm sharing the post now. Since we're that old, I got to tell you a funny, real short, funny story. I'm taking the kid to class tonight, and I get called out. He calls me out. I said we were talking about McDonald's, and I said, I think it'd be fun to work at McDonald's for a few weeks just to learn their systems and stuff, how they do it, how they train people and how they get stuff out so quick. And he's like, "Oh God, you'd be like that 46-year-old guy with the funny hat who's trying to tell everybody." So I was like, "Oh my God, I'm that guy at McDonald's." But I talked to a guy, a supervisor, who made $8.50 an hour. I'm like, I can't imagine what that's like. Okay, so anyway, on our little program tonight, which hopefully will be brief because I have to leave here in like 20 minutes. So we see a review from The Verge on the Yotaphone 2. That's the phone with the little, I guess, like a Kindle Paperwhite type thing on one side. And you don't have one of those, right? But you've talked about them. You think it's interesting, but it's
I
kind
don't.
of
They're not available in the U.S. yet, although the article indicates they'll be available in July. I've seen one. I've actually touched one. Um, I know the head of the North American distributorship for the Yotaphone. And, the review is an interesting review. It basically says this is a very, very average phone. It has, the only thing it really stands out in is its battery life, where it's kick-ass for obvious reasons. It's now going to be coming with Lollipop, and it handles Lollipop a little bit sluggishly. But the big news about it, and really the big deal about it, is that it has an e-ink display on the back. And once you do that, you're basically changing the nature of how the device works and how you interface with it. So that's a big deal. And the writer confirmed that, yeah, it's a big deal and it works really well.
And what sort of stuff is on there on the other side? What can you put on it or send to it?
Yes.
Whatever you want.
Yep. I mean, but he talks a lot about the stuff that Yoda ships with it. So it has specialty widgets for telling you when you've got email and for handling tweets. You would love this, Dan. I mean, this is a device for you. And dealing with tweets and showing the weather and the time and all of that stuff. It also has some tools to let you personalize the back so that when it's not actively in use, it just displays whatever you want it to display, a picture, a pattern, whatever.
Okay. We've got and for folks looking, it's the Yoda phone with a T, not like Star Wars Yoda. It's
Correct.
YOTA phone 2. So interesting to see, and I'm surprised, even though the second screen is, as you say, like a paperweight type, not a full color screen. I'm surprised that the battery life on the phone is so good with two screens, even though one is dumbed down, if you
I
will.
don't consumes almost no power.
No, but the first one does, doesn't it? The one's a
Only
color
when you're
screen.
using it. How often do you wake up your phone just to look at what notifications you have?
Most of the time, you wake it up is for that purpose.
Okay,
What was
now you don't
I
have
just
to.
did it. I heard a beep behind me, and I went back and I woke the phone up to see who the hell would
Right, with the
dare
Yoda
notify
phone, you
me.
don't have to. You don't have to. You're not wasting power on the colors, the power draining color screen to look at a notification. You glance at the back. which uses almost no power.
Well, here's a question. Like your dad used to always say, cutting the light bulb uses more power than running the light bulb, turning it on. Is that the case with the screen? In other words, firing the thing up, does that consume more power in that millisecond than a millisecond of simply staying on wood? Or do we
I
have
don't
any
know.
idea?
I have no idea.
We found the thing that Alan doesn't know. No, we just found the thing that Alan admits he doesn't know.
I don't know a lot of things. I readily admit that.
I'm just trolling you. I don't get to troll you often, so give me this moment. Okay, so next is
But I do it well. We covered this. Next subject.
next is a couple
Or continue on this one if you want.
couple Android Wear topics. The second, I guess, the latest version of Wear has come out. This is the Android operating system that runs the Android watches, and we see that Google Fit. Is that? I swear to God, I'm not sure. Is that only a Wear thing, or is that just an app? What is that? What's compatible with
No,
Google Fit?
Google Fit, as the name suggests, is not just an Android thing. See, that's why it's called Google Fit, not Android Fit.
Gotcha.
We had this discussion last year at I/O when they announced it.
I can't believe it escapes me now.
I can't believe your name doesn't escape you half the time, Dan.
So,
Google Fit, although it has an Android app, and although the Android platform is the first target platform, one of the things about it is that it actually works on multiple platforms. You can use it for web-based input. You can use it for Android-based input and delivery, of course. In theory, you could write an iOS app that sends its data to Google Fit.
and have we seen comparisons? I guess in this article, I saw some criticism that it's not particularly good at actually maintaining your activity level and accurately reporting that. Have you
Well, some
seen?
of that's going to depend on the device sensors, and I think that's been the real problem with Wear, is the device sensors are mediocre at best.
So Fit would be on your phone, or could be on your phone,
It can be on your phone, sure.
which would mean you'd have to wear your phone when working out. You're more
No.
likely to wear your Android Wear device when working out, right?
Yes. But there are Fit components that run purely on the watch. A. B, even when there aren't, depending on where you do your workout, if you're doing it in a Wi-Fi enabled area, and you don't have your phone with you, as long as your phone is, networked somewhere on the internet, then your watch and your phone can communicate with each other. But these are two major improvements. These are two things that Wear has over, certain other wearable operating systems.
Yeah, having to have Wi-Fi is a deal breaker for me. As far as often you'd be working out not in your living room or Starbucks. Yeah, I would think Wear, or for Apple folks, the Apple Watch, because Craig loves his Apple Watch, and the physical fitness apps are one of the main reasons he likes it. So speaking of Wear, a new version's been rolling out for the last week or two, and you've had a chance to kick those tires. I'm seeing, I think Rico described it as time to take a second look. Not just proverbially, but that it's been a significant improvement. Are you seeing that? The newest iteration?
I haven't seen it because it's not available for my watch yet, and I never use my watch. Almost never use my watch. But from the reports that I've heard, it's a good change. There are some very nice additions to it. The Wi-Fi support is pretty kick-ass, to be honest. The changes for how applications can run in the foreground is a new change, and that's pretty nice as well. So there are some nice improvements on this one.
You say you don't use it. Is that because you have glass?
Because I've got a better device.
Okay. So you think you would use it but for glass? And you've got two.
Possibly.
Now, have you gotten the Pebble yet? You said you bought a Pebble.
I bought a Pebble. It hasn't arrived yet.
Still, there's a long wait for that. That's amazing.
No, they haven't shipped it yet. The Kickstarter for it just ended. Shipment should be going out soon.
They can do a Kickstarter for each iteration.
They have been.
Kudos to them. Um, I'm still not sold on the need, but maybe I'm weird. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see what kind of
Well,
numbers the watches, Android and iOS, generate. What kind of sales are actually out there, and not just the early adopters, but like when it's a mainstream. Well, now it is. I mean, I think at Costco I saw the Moto 360 on display.
yeah, I mean, I think it's getting mainstream. I think the big thing that people don't quite understand yet is they're still thinking of it as a smartphone on a wrist, which it isn't.
The Apple Watch, you can actually make a phone call, or you can answer a phone call.
It doesn't make it a smartphone on your wrist. Also, doesn't make it a good thing to try to do.
Okay. You could tell it sounded like a Bluetooth device. It wasn't as good as if he was using his earbuds or talking on the phone. It was about as good as a Bluetooth headset would do, but it was pretty neat that he could do that.
Actually, if it's that good, I'm impressed. Because
It's
one of the
yeah.
problems because one of the problems with anything that has a microphone is in being able to pick things up correctly when it doesn't know how far away from your mouth it is.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was just walking. I think he was probably holding it up, a foot
Oh
and a
yeah, and
half.
that's just a brilliant way to use it.
Yeah, kind of walking. Um, all right, so there's a review here written as only a Business Insider review could be written. What it's like using the best Android phone in the world for a month, and then the article she's showing these the S6 and the Edge, and she says the camera's great. She likes some stuff, and she points out that I guess there's a picture of a woman, but Antonio wrote it, so I guess it's a man. Um, he said that some of the stuff he said, yeah, it's built well and it's nice and it's not plasticky and faux leather y, but he said it can't take a beating, so you immediately have to put it into a case, which renders moot whatever hardware is on the exterior of the device as far as the quality, and that's true of all phones. I don't know why everyone gets all excited about the exterior of the phone when I don't know why they can't make them more durable so you can drop it a few times and you can actually hold the phone and use it and it won't slip out of your fingers and it won't get dinged and through normal use, and you don't have to buy this ridiculous case to house the thing. I don't know anything else that you immediately have to purchase a third-party case to use it. I don't know anybody who has a case around their car. I guess you could have a bra on the front. Um, but that's frustrating. And then he talks about Touchwiz. He talks about how sometimes you'll awaken it and you have to wait 4 or 5 seconds for it to get its ducks in a row before it actually responds. Although he said that's rare. But he said the camera's great, and he likes one Touchwiz feature that is the ability to choose between different screen types. Like, is it warm or bright or sunny? And I agree that was a neat feature. Any thoughts on this review or what have you?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So next is tell me about the car thing, and I guess it's Honda. While I answer this call, please tell us about the Android Auto update or the details on this.
Well, it's mostly this was an article basically saying that a lot of the car manufacturers are making their own um, in-dash systems, and Honda decided not to do that. And instead, the article was kind of vague. I didn't quite figure this one out. It talked mostly about how Honda was going with Android Auto, but then also said that it also is supporting Apple's CarPlay. So it really wasn't clear what it's trying to say. But basically, the point is that Honda isn't trying to, you know, do something different. It's basically saying, hey, we're just going to use these other components, these other standard components. We'll put our input into it to help shape them, but they're not going to try to create something stand out.
I could see both sides of that. As much as we criticize Touchwiz, do they just want to put out another thing that's indistinguishable from every other thing? And they're saying we don't want to get in the smartphone business. We don't want to, try to reinvent that wheel. Pardon the pun. We just want to make a car and throw whatever in there people want. So I guess it's good for us because you're getting an unwrapped, pure Android car thing. And then just a couple other things here. I see Google begins supporting Apple Watch with news and weather stuff. This is, I guess, an obvious step to make their products. And then Nestle and Google rebrand Kit Kat as YouTube Break overseas. I was surprised that they didn't do more other than the initial announcement with the Kit Kat tie-in. I don't think I've yet to see a Kit Kat Android branded wrapper. I don't know. It was cool though. It's the coolest. And now it's not even Kit Kat anymore. It's Lollipop. So why are they doing this now? Maybe they could come up with a Froyo tie-in next week.
Because it's an advertisement for YouTube, not for Android.
Oh, okay. That's actually a Cadbury brand, right? Isn't it?
Except for the fact that this is Nestle overseas.
Are they different companies or one licenses, or are they just different brands of the same thing?
No, they're different companies with different licenses.
Okay.
This is why you can't import Cadbury. This is why it's illegal to import Cadbury chocolate into the U.S.
I have a Cadbury chocolate bar in my fridge. Am I breaking?
No, you don't. Is it a real Cadbury one?
I don't know. Maybe it's faux.
Is it imported from England?
No, it's imported from Waynesville, North Carolina.
Then it's not a real Cadbury bar.
Huh. Interesting.
And Cadbury bar purists would tell you that what you have in your fridge is crap.
So it's like the egg situation. You can't. It's illegal to sell a European egg here and vice versa. Because here you have to wash them, and there you're not allowed to wash them.
Oh, I thought you meant a Cadbury cream egg.
Oh, sorry. I meant the chicken egg. Which brings up the age-old question. What came first, the Cadbury chicken or the Cadbury egg? Are we done?
Oh, yeah.
With this throwaway episode of Our Android Fortnight?
And if you thought this was throwaway, you can't wait till next week, which not only is Memorial Day in the U.S., but it's going to have even less Android news.
Yes. The Japanese prisoner of war camp that is known affectionately as Our Android Week. So I/O starts...
You want to make...
Huh?
I/O starts a week from Wednesday. Sorry, a week from Thursday.
So we're talking the 26th, 28th. And it's 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or what is it?
No, it is Thursday, Friday.
And there'll be no jumping out of planes.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do to Sundar, but...
I don't know. The way they've been tossing their executives overboard, maybe.
Yeah. But
you never know.
Thursday morning. And it'll be interesting to see. Everyone already know. I mean, there's already been leaks indicating that Android M is going to be released or is going to be announced then.
You think
and we'll see what it brings.
Any predictions on what they're going to call it?
I predict they're going to call it Android M.
They're not going to have like a Mars tie-in or M&Ms or...
That will, that won't happen until October or November.
Mm.
And I've refused to speculate about it for 6 months.
So they only reveal that when it's actually being pushed out.
Right. Well, let's put it this way. If last year was any indication, when they announced Android L at I/O and then announced that it was called Lollipop later in the year, Yeah, that's going to be the pattern. But we'll see what they actually do.
Okay. And Shauna says, very interested in the Yotaphone too. So if you get one, do update us with your observations. Okay. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful New York Monday night. I know you were so looking forward to this program. Must be a
Have a
letdown when
wonderful Virginia Monday night, Dan.
it's such a letdown when it's finally over. Thank you, Alan. Hey, folks, thanks for watching. We have 2 programs. Our other program is Google Plus Week every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Unless it's at a different time, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Google Plus Week every Friday. This program is Our Android Week every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Our Android Week Mondays, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments and all that stuff. And until next time, have an awesome Android Week. Oops. Bam.